Let's talk real quick about perfect squares. Perfect squares are really important when we start talking about simplifying radicals and dealing with those radical symbols and square roots. So we need to know what they are. Let's take a look. Perfect squares. What is a perfect square? Well, a perfect square is a pretty simple idea. It's just this. Any number whose square root or radical will result in a whole number. So, for example, if you were to take the square root of 4, so you take 4, you take the square root or radical of 4, the answer is 2, which is a whole number. That means that the number 4 is a perfect square. So 4 is a perfect square because the radical or square root of it is a whole number. Conversely, if you were to take, say, 6 and take the square root of 6, you end up with an oddball decimal, 2.449489, blah, 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 blah. Goes on forever. This is not a whole number, it's a decimal. So 6 is not a perfect square. It's not a value that will give you a whole number back when you take the square root of it. So there's a series of perfect squares that are really important to us, things we need to know. So squaring is the opposite of square rooting or radicalizing something. That is to say that one cancels the other. 2 squared is 4, but the square root of 4 is 2. Okay, remember these cancel each other out. It's like addition or subtraction, multiplication, division. They do opposite things for us mathematically. So the square root of 2 squared is just 2. Once again, they're canceling each other out. Square root of 4 squared is still just 4. So once again, they're just canceling each other out. That's really key to remember, especially when we get to solving equations that involve radicals. Let's take a list of our first 12 numbers, 1 through 12. These are our standard numbers. Now imagine for a second that you were to take each of those and square them. And what numbers do you get? Well, 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, then 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, and 144. So this set of numbers are the first 12 perfect squares. You should have these memorized. Now, what if we were to take all of these and find the square root of them? That is to say, you were to take all of them and take the radical of them. Well, the square root of 1 is 1. The square root of 4 is 2. Of 9 is 3. Then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, all the way down to the line. So that middle row of numbers, that 149 through 144, these right here, these are your perfect squares. You must have these memorized. They're super important when it comes to simplifying radicals because you're going to have to be able to divide these numbers into our problems that we're looking for. Okay? So make sure you have these values memorized along with your multiplication.